Yeah, so I was in this Santa Teresa National Park in Uruguay. When I went to bed, it like maybe it was gonna rain, but I was like put myself under a tree and hoped that it wouldn't in my little tent. But I woke up and sure enough, it had been raining. So not a major deal. Packed my stuff up and got in my car and hit the road and was making my way to Brazil. And super gray day, so sort of this like, is it summer? Is it not summer? Because it's always changing between raining and not raining. Still hot, but whatever. So I get to the border, and yeah, it's gray and whatever, and the border's pretty official, like they're not very warm, but then the guy who actually had to deal with me, it was a dude who likes to take vacations to go skiing in Whistler here in BC, so he like loved me, and got me through pretty easy into Brazil, so that wasn't a problem at all. And the first city I went to in Brazil was called Pelotas, and I got there, and I was like, okay, yeah, Brazil has a different vibe, like, you could debate more poverty, less poverty, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Brazil's like more open, so it doesn't feel as tightly packed as Argentina in terms of the structure of the buildings or whatever. But maybe there's more difference between classes in Brazil. I'm not sure. But different vibes in Brazil. Nothing negative. But one thing that was impossible was the language. Like I knew Portuguese was not going to be Spanish. I knew that, but I thought it would be a little easier to communicate, or the people would speak more Spanish, particularly in the south of Brazil, in a city like Pelotas, which is the first city that I went to. But that was not the case. So the language was quite an interesting gap that I had, but whatever, not a big deal. So I got to the hotel, and fortunately I had a really big room, so I was able to dry out all my camping gear, which was nice. And then I went to go get some food and kind of wander around. The city was nice. It wasn't super rainy at that point. It was kind of a mix of different things. There was like a plaza and like some different markets or whatever. And I ended up eating these things called pasteles or pastels, and it's like an empanada but like fried. And I was like, oh my god, this is so good, and they were like so cheap. It was just like a food stand or whatever. And like my stomach was totally fine that first night with them, not a problem. But later on in the trip in Brazil, when I tried to eat like a pastel or whatever it's called, because they're deep fried, and I don't know how long they keep that oil to fry them in or whatever. Every time I'd eat one, my stomach would like die. So I was like, no, no more of those. But that first location in Pelotas was fine. And there was also like in Pelotas, there was like this like burned out building that I don't have a photo of, but it was weird because in Porto Alegre, the next city, they had the same thing. It was this massive building that had just been like totally burnt out, and I'll show you a photo of that right now, even though we're talking about Pelotas and not Porto Alegre. Anyway, so both Pelotas and Porto Alegre are in the state Rio Grande do Sul, the most southern state in Brazil, and that state's actually bigger than all of Uruguay. So like Brazil's massive. I mean, I think you probably know Uruguay is tiny, but like that one state in the south of Brazil is bigger than all of Uruguay combined, the whole country. So interesting. So yeah, so I was in Pelotas, and the next day headed up to Porto Alegre, again, still in Rio Grande do Sul, sorry the pronunciation. Again, like a rainy day, and I got there, and my hotel was sort of on the outskirts of the city. It was like kind of nasty and gray, not cold, but just like But I decided to walk all the way downtown, and you get there, and there's like really nice buildings or whatever, some interesting churches, things like this. The big marketplace, of course, the burnt-out building that I showed you for Pelotas. Went down to like this river area, and then kind of came back through the city, and I noticed that like there's actual hills in Porto Alegre. Because up until then, like Uruguay, Argentina on the east coast, all that like flat as a pancake, like nothing. But you get to Porto Alegre, and there's some actual crazy San Francisco type hills in the city. I think I tried to capture a photo of something to show you, but probably doesn't do it justice. But anyway, that was cool. So after that, headed back to the hotel, and nothing crazy that night or whatever, and sort of dangerous in some of the sections heading back to the hotel at night. In my mind, perceiving it as dangerous, more dangerous than Argentina perhaps, but nothing happened, so it was all cool. So got to the hotel the next day, headed on the way to Florianopolis, and Florianopolis is in the Santa Catarina state, the next state north of Rio Grande do Sul. And Florianopolis, like for my students in Buenos Aires, it's kind of like a vacation destination. I talked about how Punta del Este in Uruguay is a vacation destination, but so is Florianopolis. Florianopolis essentially is like this island, very close to the shore. And where my hotel was actually, well, first of all, I'll tell you, I was driving, to get to Florianopolis, and rainy. You can start to see sort of the jungle coming into things here with the rain and everything like that. But also, there was this giant statue of Liberty in front of this store. And that's one thing about Brazil that's very different from Argentina, is that in Argentina they really hated the USA. Like, really did not like it. They definitely looked to Europe as their like ideal, and definitely not at the USA. And Brazil, I really didn't feel that. I felt that Brazil didn't have a sense of like, we are the children of Europe, or we are the children of North America. They're like, we are our own thing. And it makes sense. There's like, I think like 200 million in Brazil, or over 200 million in Brazil. So it's like its own thing. It doesn't have the sense of like, we're the children of Europe the way Argentina did. And because of that, it doesn't have a hatred for the States or hatred for Europe. They're just kind of like their own universe. I felt like Brazil was sort of like the wild teenager of Latin America, the same way I think of the USA as the wild teenager of perhaps, compared to Europe being like the parents or whatever, something like that. But anyway, so get to Florianopolis, and as I'm crossing the bridge, it starts to clear up a little bit. And my hotel was sort of just on the other side of the island. So it was part of Florianopolis, but it was just across the bridge. When I got to the hotel, there was nobody there to let me in. So I was like, what the hell? But finally I was able to get in, and it kind of has like a view of the bay there, you can see. And so I decided I'd go across the bridge to actually walk downtown to Florianopolis. And that bridge was kind of cool during the daytime, not a problem. Got to Florianopolis, went to this Parque de la Luz. There's like nice little sort of rolling hills in Florianopolis, some nice churches. I went down to like this thing sort of along the ocean, I guess you could say. Yeah, I guess it is the ocean, because the other side of the thing, the island. And got some food there, and walked back. Coming back though, I was a bit worried, because crossing that same bridge, it's like underneath the car part, so you're kind of like tucked in. And I was just like, yeah, this is not too safe. I have no escape route if something goes down. And the bridge was quite long. But nothing happened, and I got back to my hotel kind of through like this ghetto neighborhood or whatever. But again, no problems. Got back to the hotel, no problems that night. And then the next day was beautiful and sunny, and so I was like, okay, well, I'm going to take advantage of this day. I'm going to go to the beach in Florianopolis on the island, the big tourist trap. And the beach I chose is Joaquina Beach, and that's because they have sand dunes there. And I like absolutely love sand dunes, because you can run barefoot on them. There's hills. It's like being in the desert. It's not the desert, but it's amazing. So I go there, park my car, go up to the sand dunes. I'm like loving it. I think I got some video of the sand dunes there. And then like, of course, I ran down from the top of the sand dunes all the way down to the beach, and jumped in the ocean. And the beach was super cool, super touristy. Definite like sort of South American beach vibe that we don't have in Buenos Aires, but you could feel it. It was cool. Lots of sexy bodies. And then headed back to the car, and I had to head to Curitiba, which is the next city. And so on the way to Curitiba, I again started to turn back to rain. Sort of like schizophrenic weather patterns. Like, am I in summer? Am I not in summer? But anyway, so I get to Curitiba, and I kind of stayed a little bit outside the city as well, in this place called Fazendinha. So it's like a suburb of Curitiba. Curitiba is a really big city, and that one is in the state Paraná. And that's, again, a large state within Brazil. So I got there, and it was like kind of rainy on the trip, but kind of rainy when I got there. And then when I went out to get food and groceries, like crazy downpour. Downpour so crazy that when I got to the restaurant, I was like, I'm just going to hang out here and see if it gets better. The rain kind of slows down after I finished eating. And it didn't really. So I decided to kind of like run back to my hotel and try not to get too soaked. But it was like a crazy downpour. So back to the hotel, and then the next day I was supposed to meet up with a woman. So while I was waiting for her, I kind of went to this different section, and you can see kind of like the green farm fields outside of Curitiba, the Fazendinha area, looking onto Curitiba. So it was a super nice, beautiful day there. So I met with her, and then had to head on my way to start heading inland to get to Foz de Iguazu, which is the giant waterfalls, still within the Paraná state, but heading inland to the west to get there. And on my way out of Curitiba, like it was super jam-packed trying to get out from my hotel to get to the highway. And super like traffic jam, and then it was because there had been an accident. And I think there was actually like a dead body like on the road. There's ambulances, and like, you know, the blanket with the feet sticking out, which was like kind of gross. But a theme that I'll mention in this video before we get further into the series is in Brazil, man, they have so many car accidents. Like, I don't even understand it. All of the time, I'd be driving on the highway and just see like a car off the road, like flipped upside down for no reason, like one car. I don't know if it's that everyone's texting these days and like crashing, or if like the roads are perhaps not as good, or the cars aren't as good, but like so many car crashes. I was just like, what the hell is wrong with you people? Like I mean, the Brazilians are awesome, but I just could not understand why so many car crashes. Anyway, so the next video I'll take you over to Foz de Iguazu, which is amazing, one of the highlights of the trip, but that brings us up to Curitiba.